Greg Ehrenberg from Odd Shopper, closing out your week with another NBA best bets. As you come in, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and leave a comment below to let me know what you guys think about my bets. Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Or do you just have other bets that you guys like and you want to just let people know about it or want to ask me a question about it? All the comments are appreciated. Even if you guys don't like the bets, I still like to read them. So, for instance, yesterday, betting video, I had 3 bets yesterday. Ended up being profitable, went 2-1 on those bets. But some people disagreed with bets I had yesterday, and I kind of wanted to go through some of the reason that I liked this bet anyway. So I see a couple of the comments I got yesterday on Kyrie Irving. I bet Kyrie over 29.5 points. A couple of responses I got here was the Kyrie bet is risky. He's only hit the over in 2 out of the 10 of his last home games. Another comment, yeah, Greg isn't very sharp. So the bet ended up winning. But why do I think this data is invalid? 2 out of 10 of his last home games. Because most of those games were played alongside Kevin Durant. And also, I don't even think it matters whether the games were played at home or on the road. But if you're looking at some of this trend data, it needs a little bit more context to it. Because if you're going to, because the main reason that we were betting Kyrie Irving for his over on points yesterday was because his usage rate had been so much higher in games without Kevin Durant. The ball's in his hands more. He's taking a lot more shots. So to then look at games he played alongside Kevin Durant and say, well, in some of these games, he didn't score over 30 points. To me, it's just irrelevant, especially because we're only looking at home games and we're just ignoring all the road games in the sample size. But it was very relevant that Kevin Durant was out. And this data kind of indicates that Kevin Durant didn't matter, which was the entire reason I placed the bet was because we had no Kevin Durant and the books had not totally adjusted for the role Kyrie Irving was playing. So if you're looking at stuff like last few games, take into account which players are in or which players are out of the lineup, because we ended up winning that Kyrie bet today and yesterday. And it was obviously, to me at least, pretty relevant that Kevin Durant didn't end up playing. Another bet we had that won was RJ Barrett under 6.5 rebounds. And then one other bet that I had yesterday that ended up losing was Jaden Ivey over 3.5 rebounds. And that was really close. He actually had 3 rebounds midway through the second quarter. And I felt really good about that one, but then didn't end up hitting. But either way, can't win every single bet every day. And I was happy to walk away with a profit yesterday. So hopefully you guys trailed those bets and also were able to return a little bit of a profit. But let's talk about Friday's slate now and keep the good train rolling. These are my favorite bets for the Friday NBA slate. So my first bet of the day, we've got some injury news with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that is leading me to betting Evan Mobley on the over on his rebounds prop. So the couple players that are on the injury report right now for the Cleveland Cavaliers, we've got Donovan Mitchell is questionable, and then Kevin Love also being questionable. And with those guys potentially not playing, as things stand now, I already think you can make a case for Evan Mobley over 8.5 rebounds. But this would look really good if either or both those guys are out, particularly Kevin Love, because that would mean extra minutes potentially here for Evan Mobley, who's been playing more minutes as of late with the team a little bit banged up. So yesterday, he did pull down 10 rebounds and only played 33 minutes, but it was because the game was a one-sided blowout. Had that game been competitive, we're actually looking at close to 40 minutes for Evan Mobley based on him not playing the final 6.5 minutes of that game. And in previous games leading up to that, 38 minutes, 38 minutes, 37 minutes, 39 minutes, and 40 minutes for Evan Mobley. So we've got a guy now for the season who's playing 34 minutes per game and averaging 9 rebounds. And now with all these injuries, looking at a guy that I think we could project right around 38 minutes, somewhere around that neighborhood. And that really does raise his rebound projection up, which is why in our projections that we have over at Stokastic.com, we've got Evan Mobley projected for 10 rebounds today. And I think that's totally reasonable given the recent uptick in minutes. So over 8.5 rebounds for Evan Mobley, that's the first bet of the day. Now the next bet I have here, it's over 3.5 rebounds for Franz Wagner. And I think that he's getting a little bit of just depressed props at sportsbooks right now because we have such a deep Orlando Magic rotation. It's crazy because this team is not good in terms of wins and losses, but there's clearly a lot of upside on this team and a lot of young talent. And they're also just running insanely deep rotations right now, particularly Jonathan Isaac coming back from injury. But one player that's kind of not been impacted by this has been Franz Wagner. And also it should be noted that Jonathan Isaac, tail end of a back-to-back, hadn't played in a couple of years before making his season debut last week. So he's going to be resting today. But look at some of the recent results for Franz Wagner. As other players' minutes have kind of gone up and down for this team, it hasn't been the case for Wagner, even with the team getting a bunch of players back. So last handful of games for Wagner, 34 minutes, 33 minutes, 27 minutes, but that was a game that was a blowout where starters didn't really play the fourth quarter. 32.5 minutes, 32 minutes, 35 minutes, 35 minutes. So I feel pretty good about Wagner's playing time. And also, That's why I feel pretty good about his rebound prop that's come all the way down to 3.5, when for the year, he's averaging 4 rebounds per game. And if you look at the recent games for Wagner, he's actually had 4 more rebounds in 6 out of his last 7. So a little bit here of just books overreacting to the Orlando Magic being healthier than they've been at any other point in the season. Over the last 2 weeks, Wagner is averaging 5 rebounds per game. But despite that, his rebound prop has come all the way down to 3.5. I don't think it's warranted, so I'm taking the over here. Do you guys want to make $200 tonight? This is how easy it is. Sign up at DraftKings Sportsbook using the link we have below. And then the first bet you place over there, $5 bet on anything you want. It could be the Wagner prop I just mentioned, or it could be a money line, a spread, whatever it is you like for any single sport out there. And DraftKings Sportsbook is going to pay you out $200 on that $5 bet, regardless of if the bet wins or loses. All you need to do to take advantage is sign up using the link that we have below so they know that we are the ones who sent you guys there. And then you get credited with $200 no matter what the result of your first $5 bet is over at DraftKings Sportsbook. If you or anybody that you know has a gambling problem, make sure to call or text the number 1-800-GAMBLER. My final bet of the day, I have under 13.5 rebounds for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if you guys remember, the first game that he came back from injury after a couple-week layoff, I bet him for under 12.5 rebounds. That bet ended up winning narrowly. Just a very, very narrow win because he had 12 rebounds but had under 12.5 boards. What's really stood out to me about the couple games since Giannis has come back from injury, the Bucks been really cautious with his playing time. First game back, I know it was a blowout, but even so, he only played 26 minutes. He wasn't going to play a massive amount in that game. And then his second game back, which was a more competitive game, we only got 31 minutes out of Giannis. And I think that's relevant because it's really hard to reliably pull down 14 rebounds in a game when he's not going to be getting a full minutes allotment in all likelihood. And another thing to consider is this just overall numbers for the year. He's averaging 12 rebounds per game in 33.5 minutes. So if his baseline is 12 rebounds per game, and that's in 33 minutes, and now he's playing 30, 31 minutes, then we're looking at like 11 and a half rebound average, which I do think is really shown out in our projections that we have over at stokastic.com. We have him projected for right around 12 rebounds for tonight. And by the way, if you guys want access to NBA Bet Pro, which is a really good resource for prop betting for NBA, we've got all projections for every single player prop, and also we've got all the different sports books in here with the different prop lines and where you could identify where the best bet is. You get 1 week free access using the link that we have below. But I do think this is a really good bet that's shown out in our tools, under 13.5 rebounds for Giannis. It's just hard to think he's going to get to 14 more often than not, considering that it looks like his minutes are restricted to, somewhere around 30, 31, as the Bucks try to make sure that he's healthy for the rest of the season. And then also, Chris Middleton's back for the Bucks now. That takes a little bit of the weight off of Giannis's shoulders, less usage for him, less time they even need him to be out on the court, just because they have another star player in there who's able to create offense and is able to help the team. So final bet of the day here, and another rebound prop, under 13.5 boards for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So recapping my 3 bets for the day, and they're all rebound props, not intentional, just kind of what I thought stood out as the best value. But I got Evan Mobley over 8.5 rebounds. I've got Franz Wagner over 3.5 rebounds, and Giannis Antetokounmpo for under 13.5 boards. Let me know what you guys think about these below in the comment section. I always like your feedback, no matter what it is, because even stuff like in the intro I did where people disagree with me, it makes me think, and then it also kind of, I think, enables me to give some sort of kind of teaching lesson in terms of why I arrived at the conclusion I did in terms of what bets look good or what bets don't. So all comments, all feedback, always appreciated. Also, before you guys leave, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want any more information from myself, I've got a premium betting Discord you can get 1 week free access to via the link that we have below. I'm answering people's questions, throwing in some extra bets in there, and we're always having fun kind of sweating out some of the bets in there. So if that's of interest to you, you want to try it out, check out that link, 1 week free access. That's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you have a great weekend.